First of all, man, congratulations. You're the first guy to beat the system. You're the first guy to get fucked over by the system, go public with it, and then get your money. I've never heard it happen before. I don't think it's ever happened before.
Bro, I still can't wrap my mind around it. But I do have to shout out Chris McCarthy over at CBS Viacom. That guy, you know, when we were working this out, his approach was someone who was actually trying to resolve something.
Came through.
It was amazing, man.
It's amazing. It's a happy ending because usually those artist gripes, they never get resolved. Not to where the artist feels comfortable or happy with it.
Right.
They always feel bitter and angry. They got fucked over, and someone else is a producer, and they're making millions of dollars off of your work, and they continue to sell it, and make money off of it. And
well, I could say with a high degree of honesty. Not to say I was never angry about it, but I don't think I was ever like bitter. I mean, by this point in my life, I wasn't bitter.
You would joke about it. You were angry about it, but not to the point where it fucked with your head, but you would joke about it.
Well, I mean, you know, the bottom line is no matter what happens to you, you gotta keep going.
You gotta keep going.
And bitterness is quite cumbersome.
Yeah, it's bad for you.
Right. So, you know, jokes is a way of shaking that off or processing something with the alchemy of levity.
Yeah. Holding grudges, bitterness, shit's very bad for you. It doesn't ever help.
No, and now we're getting on in age. You know what I mean? When we were younger, it's fine to hold a grudge. Mm-hmm. You didn't realize how, you know.
You didn't realize it was fucking with you. What is that expression? It's about jealousy. The jealousy is the only poison that affects the container that's holding it.
Right. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
But bitterness, the same thing.
Same thing.
Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah. It's just not good for you. You got to be able to let shit go.
Yeah. I mean.
But in your case, you made a ploy. Like you said what happened, how you felt about it, and they were like, he's right.
I think, yeah.
Let's give him the money.
It wasn't a court of law. I don't believe I would have got anything.
It's kind of amazing.
In a court of law. I think in a court of public opinion, it was a good time for me to say my piece. And through the years, it wasn't something that I would harp on. When I did interviews and stuff, people would always ask me about it, but it was something I was actually reluctant to talk about. It was a lot.
Yeah. Well, it's hard for other people to relate to this idea that you want more money. You know, you're talking about regular people, and you're saying this thing, even though it is yours. It's hard for people.
Money is, if you look at life, anything in life through the framework of money, you'll miss most of the picture.
Yeah.
And you know, in business, especially at this stage in our careers, you realize through the years, people play incentives. You know what I mean? That if they incentivize a certain way, then that's the way they're going to behave. So what they want is never really surprising. How they get there is where all the surprises are. So I feel like I can forgive somebody for playing an incentive. It's disappointing, but what was so remarkable when I walked away from the show, right, is that it was against incentive. So people couldn't understand it at the time. It was so much money. How could you do that? And blah, blah, blah. But you know, if I had taken that money and finished the show, I would have got the money, but I might never have been the same.
I think it was one of the most gangster moves in the history of entertainment.
Well,
it made you a legend. And the fact that you then started doing shows like, I heard like Dave's doing a show in the park in Seattle. He's got like a box. He pulls out a speaker and just starts doing stand-up.
That was in Portland, yeah. Because in that sense, it was freeing.
Yeah.
Something about, you know, I was geared a certain way growing up because I wanted to make it in show business. And boy, that shit fell all the way apart. And as far as I knew, my career was over. So where do you go from there?
Yeah, but your career wasn't over. You just decided you were going to just sort of lay back for a while. In
hindsight, yeah. But when it was happening...
You really felt like it was over.
I'd never seen these things before.
Right.
I didn't see anyone else do this and get back up. I didn't see, you know, and the drum beat is, he's crazy, he smokes crack, he's this, he's that.
Yeah.
It was a wild experience. The way people close to you react to it, like I had failed or I ruined my life. You know, and then you know, when you're cold, that phone don't ring that often.
Right.
And then I had over a decade of sitting in that choice, but I didn't languish in just that experience. I started doing stand-up for much better reasons than making it. I still enjoyed it. I started seeing the places where I was performing. Normally when you're like successful in comedy, you know, you get off the plane or the bus, you do the hit, you go back to the hotel, you get back on the bus, you don't really see anything. You don't really, like even now, like this last run we did here in Austin, and we was here for weeks. And then I got to see Austin. I got to find restaurants I like. I met people that I probably called because I'm in town, stuff like that. And it was like that all over the world, not just the country. I started going around and just seeing the world. I got overwhelmed with this idea that none of my information was firsthand. I just read it in books or heard it from friends, and I was eager to just see something for myself. And I kind of entrenched this philosophy that my memories are some of the most valuable things that I have. These firsthand experiences. Can't take that away from if I reminisce on a nice day, then you know it feeds you. Remembering something is neurologically almost identical, I've read, to experiencing it. Any information is valuable. I call it expensive knowledge, right? It's like your buddy that's a war veteran or something. You don't want to know the shit he knows if you knew what he had to do to know these things. That's what they call expensive knowledge. I would not recommend quitting your show the way I did. Yeah. If you can avoid it.
Yeah. But it was, the way you did it was so cool. Because, you kind of drifted off.
I promise I wasn't trying to be cool. It was a series of troubleshooting. It's just like, fuck it, man. Like, what are you gonna do? You gotta, whatever you go through, you gotta live. You gotta make a way and find your happiness. And I'm lucky. I'm in show business, which is a pretty it's a multi-dimensional career path. This thing could go a lot of ways.
Yeah. Especially today.
Oh my God. Yeah.
So strange.
Yeah, and another time would I have ever gotten that money? I don't think so.
No, because there would have been no social media, no pressure.
Right. No dropping specials on the gram, no no comment section, no moveon.org, no.
And if you had gone to, say, like the Tonight Show and made a pitch like that, they probably wouldn't have even aired it.
No, of course not. I had a gripe with someone that owned a sixth of the media. Yeah. What am I gonna do? Tell the media on them? It's never gonna work.
Right. They would definitely edit that part out. Be like, why is Dave's section only 4 minutes long?
Yeah, edit it, spin it, whatever it is they do. But again, all parties involved. I thought in repairing that situation, and I don't want to go all into what those conversations were like, other than to say. And this is not like I'm just happy because they paid me. It was class act. It was like,
that's beautiful.
It really was. It was very encouraging.
That is very encouraging.
I think that coming up behind us, these kids are gonna be playing in a whole new ball game than we did.
That clip was longer than we usually air clips, but there's some people in society that when they talk, we just all need to listen. Dave Chappelle is one of those people. He said a lot of good stuff in here. It's the first time in a while that I watched one of these clips and I took notes because I wanted to make sure I hit everything that he said because it went a lot of different places, but it still stayed inside the arena. So I'm really gonna break this down, what he was talking about, what we can take from it, and why every time he speaks, I listen.
My ducks, my swans, welcome to the pond.
My name is Dorian from Group82Music.com, and right here we got Dave Chappelle talking about how he got his show back, but also giving us amazing gems that just comes from life experience. Y'all know I don't fluff, so I'm gonna give y'all 3 things I really took away from this, and I think will really help everybody who's in any sort of endeavor where you gotta work with other people. The first thing he talked about that really stuck out to me is how they got there. And what he meant by that is when people do things mischievous, you're never surprised about why they did it, right? If somebody steals from you, you're not surprised about why they stole, because they needed money. It's why they stole from you. It's how they did it. Okay, why would you steal from me? Why would you steal from me when I don't have money? Why wouldn't you come ask me? The route in which they got there is usually the mystery that makes you try to understand the human psychology of greed. Dave Chappelle completely understood and got that, and that's why he left Comedy Central at the height of his, there hasn't been a bigger comedy superstar. No offense to Kevin Hart, but when Dave Chappelle was up top, he was up top. I ain't seen nothing like that in my life. And that's why he left, because these people were doing things that he never even thought about, all because they gave him $50 million. You have to understand the game, whatever game you're in, whether it's the music business, entrepreneurship, comedy, fitness, social media, you work at FedEx, whatever it is, you got to understand your game. You can't ignore the rules. A lot of people want to ignore the rules because the rules don't make them feel good. Like y'all ignore the rules in politics. Y'all get so caught up on Democrats, Republicans, blue, red, liberal, conservative. It ain't about that. It's politics. Poly, that's a prefix for policies. It's about policies. That's what it's about. But y'all get so caught up on other stuff that y'all ignore the rules. And that's why a lot of y'all are in the same situation, always blaming the government and getting upset whenever your mascot doesn't get voted into the Oval Office. Y'all gotta know the rules in the music business and entrepreneurship. They wanna own as much as they possibly can because they make money off of it forever. You need to be making money off of your products forever, not other people. When you know the rules, you're never surprised at outcomes. And then you can start seeing those outcomes coming. You can either A, get yourself in and enrich yourself, or get out the way and let somebody else get ran over because it ain't gonna be you. Learn the rules and understand why people do what they do and study how they get there. Number two, I took away from this video, which I think is really key for artists, is he went back to his roots. You know, you gotta know how to do this stuff on your own. I know how to market on my own. I know how to sell on my own. I know how to get millions of streams on my own. I know how to go number one on iTunes on my own. I know how to get thousands and thousands of social media followers on my own. I know how to do all these things. So that gives me power. So if I ever partner with somebody or if I get in a situation where I'm within a big corporation, I know if that goes to shit, I can still go back to my roots and know how to make money. This is why I be sharing everything I share with y'all, because you need to know how to make your own money in this game especially. You can't depend on other people to pay you because you always gonna have a master. You don't want a master. You wanna have freedom. You wanna have deals and partnerships that you're doing with people. My relationship with YouTube is a partnership. It's a YouTube partner program. They have no requirements on the amount of videos that I have to make. I can stop making videos today. And because of that, I will get monetized for the rest of my life. As long as YouTube is paying out ad money, I'm gonna get it. As long as y'all are searching for these topics, I'm gonna get paid off of it. That's a partnership. I'm not required to check in or do things a certain way. I do what I want. And they decide if they wanna show it or not, or put ads on it. It's a partnership. So none of y'all have no partners. Y'all want bosses and managers. And that's why you ain't making no money. You gotta learn how to do this stuff yourself, just in case the roof caves in, you go build your own crib. The third thing and last thing I took away from this clip is that when Dave Chappelle was in his lowest moments, that's when he went to his passion. You gotta have some sort of passion about whatever it is that you're doing. If you wanna be rich in music and education and entrepreneurship, whatever field you have. I'll be trying to name all the fields and shit. There's too many of y'all, okay? The pond is getting huge. We got people from all walks of life. Pro athletes, I mean, it's getting crazy, all right? And I appreciate that. And I love all y'all. But I can't list the professions like I used to because y'all do everything, which is great. I love we have a well-balanced fan base. But whatever it is you want to do, you got to be passionate about it. You got to have this serious, sickening, almost irregular, weird passion that no matter what's going on in your life, you still gonna do this. Bro, I'm always gonna make music. Always gonna create music. I just am. I'm always gonna watch basketball. I'm always gonna help people and educate. I'm always gonna learn new things and wanna talk about it. It just so happens that all of those things that I always am going to do can get me paid too. I'm very fortunate with that because this wouldn't have been the case 10, 15 years ago. Whatever you're passionate about, it can make you money too. It doesn't matter what it is. You can be extremely passionate about rhinoceros feces. And there is a group of people on the internet who will pay you money to hear your knowledge about rhino shit. I don't know what y'all waiting on. Dave Chappelle showed us his passion carried him, which allowed him to do independent shows, which allowed him to connect with his fan base, which allowed him to still have this legacy that when he really decided to step back in front of us, we embraced him with open arms, and Netflix couldn't deny it. Neither could Comedy Central. He was able to get the rights to his show back that has his last name. It's an amazing damn story, man. Amazing clip. Thank you, Joe Rogan, for that. Thank you, Dave Chappelle. You trying to have your last name mean something? You trying to really turn your passion into your profit? You on Instagram, click that link up top. You on YouTube, click that link in the box. Click that TubeBuddy link too and install that. Made me damn near 50 racks from YouTube. Y'all tripping. I'm out the pond. Y'all stay true.
Okay. Group82university.com